All right, let's take a look at another sort of the non-traditional uses of the Neapolitan. Again, we're not really looking at crazy things. You know, the last example we saw of the Neapolitan just sort of not going directly to 5, but instead being followed by a 7 of 5 chord. That's not exactly crazy. And similar to that, what we're going to look at here is one of the ways that we can use the Neapolitan as a pivot chord in a modulation. So again, hopefully you've listened to the example and sort of worked on doing a little bit of analysis on this on your own. This is another Schubert example. Schubert, great usage of the Neapolitan. So here we go. This is going to be the Schubert from his Mass in E flat. This is from the Credo. And so here we go. So this is this, we're in E flat major. You can sort of tell from these great like rumbling E flats down there. Almost definitely like a timpani kind of thing. And then the voices come in with this lush, beautiful E flat chord. One thing to note about this is that we're in what's called sort of open score. So you can see basses, tenors, altos, sopranos, rather than having them on sort of piano score. This is what's called open score writing. The tenor voice here, you can see it's a treble clef with an 8. That means this is an octave higher. It's written an octave higher than it actually is. So it might look to you very understandably like the tenors are actually singing higher than the sopranos, because you got this G and the sopranos are here on E flat, but actually the tenors are singing the G that's a third above this E flat. So it goes basses, tenors, altos, and sopranos, right? So that's sort of what's going on there, just with the notation. So here we go. We got a 1 chord, and we're in E flat, and we move to this chord on the next beat. One of the notes there should really stand out, which is the C flat, which is not in the key of E flat major. So those altos are here on Sol, right? So that should give us a hint what's going on there. If we look at this chord, D is the root, so it's D, F, A flat, and C flat. So if D is the root in E flat, that means it's 7. And with the C flat, instead of being half diminished, it's a fully diminished 7th chord. And hopefully we can identify that C flat is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th scale degree. So this is just some good old-fashioned modal mixture. And you can hear, again, it's a deeper sound, right? It normally, with a half diminished 7 chord, it would have been this. Oops, sorry. Wait, which is lovely. 1, 7, 1. But instead, that C flat really makes a lot of expressive difference there. And then sort of go into this beautiful moment here. So hopefully we can hear that it resolves to 1, right? As 7 should. But if we look at the upper voices, if we look at the soprano and also the tenor, they're sort of doing this lovely little non-harmonic tone thing. And if we look, we can see right on the beat here, we've got E, E flat, A flat, B flat, F. So if we took each of those, let's just take the A flat. We can see the basses are singing Do, E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat. Right? So if we actually look, A flat on the beat here moves down to G here. This is kind of an expanded suspension figure. It's almost like a 4-3 suspension. And the sopranos, F to E flat. That's like a 9-8. Right? It's expanded, so we got those two. And with the altos in the middle there. Right? It's just a way to expand on that 9-8 and 4-3 suspension figure. So we do that. We got that lovely, and then E flat in the bass, or sorry, A flat in the bass to a big 4 chord. And look what happens here. what's that? We got B flat in the bass, which is 5 in this key. Look, we got a 4th above the bass and a 6th above the bass, so it's a cadential 6/4. Let's look at how it resolves on the next page here. I'm sorry. This is actually one of my favorite ways to resolve a cadential 6/4 because it doesn't all happen at once. We sort of expect this to go cadential 6/4, 5 7 1. Right, so we had the 6/4, but if we look at what happens, the sopranos are slow to resolve. Everybody else, this was the 4th above the bass in the whoever these are, the altos had the 4th above, and now they're on the 3rd above the bass. The tenors moved from the octave to the 7th here. But the sopranos, who were on the 6th above the bass, they're still there. And we get this extra dissonance. If we wanted to, we could sort of write it like this, where we move to the 7th and the 3rd, but the 6th doesn't resolve to the 5th until after the beat. And what that does is on this chord here with the sopranos holding that over, we've got a great dissonance. We've already got the B flat in the bass with A flat, so the 7th is a dissonance. We've also then got the A flat with the D, which is a tritone, and we've got A flat with a G, a 7th. So this has these layers of dissonance all resolving. It's really wonderful. So that's that opening phrase. No real Neapolitan stuff going on there. Just some cool modal mixture, a really lovely sort of expanded suspension figure, this 4 chord in root position, and then a really lovely cadential 6/4. Then if you look down at the bottom here, the orchestra kind of comes in, and they're going to respond with a sort of response. And then we've got this sort of, right, I sort of did that an octave too high, but right, we got sort of this thing, it's here. Right, this nice little, that should be fi, sol, la, sol, mi, re, do. Right, so again, little modal mixture. Right, sort of, and then we can see here the voices come back in. It looks very similar, right? Very similar. We don't really need to worry. There's that modal mixture. And then the voices come back with the same voicing as we had at the beginning. Let's continue. And look, same idea. Here's our same modally mixed, fully diminished 7 chord, and the same resolution of the 1 chord. So everything's off to the same start. But let's look at what happens. If we just keep going, we did not end up in the same place. That's one of the things I love about this, is that Schubert starts the phrase the exact same, even the same little flourishes, and then quickly modulates to G minor in a really, really, really sort of snap like that. So, okay, let's figure out what happens. We're still on 1, and we go here. Look, we go to this A flat chord, A flat, C, E flat. We went to a 4 chord in the same place in the first phrase. So this seems normal. The only change is that we're in first inversion here. The first phrase, it went from this to root position, right? Here, it's from the 7 chord. To the 4/6, and then look what comes after the 4/6. Oh, it's a cadential 6/4 in G minor. Cadential 6. What kind of chord could be a pivot? What happens before that? It's an A flat chord. What would an A flat chord be in G minor that could precede a dominant? This is that spot where he uses this 4/6 chord in E flat minor as a pivot Neapolitan in G minor, leading to a cadential 6/4 to 1. That's just so wonderful. So, look, he's going from E flat major to G minor. Those are closely related keys, and there are some other options that he could have used to pivot between these two keys. There are, shared chords, but doing it this way really, really has a lot of flavor to it, because that Neapolitan adds a level of unexpectedness, but yet clarity to this cadence point, and it allows him to move a little deeper into the phrase before modulating. So that's a great example of how we can modulate on the Neapolitan. The thing to take away is that this, like I said, is done between two keys that are closely related. But if we think about it, we could go via the Neapolitan to much more distant keys as well. If we're in E flat and we want to use that A flat chord as our sort of, well, that wouldn't be the Neapolitan, but you get the idea. I'm going to stop it there before I start saying things that aren't true. So anyway, that's a cool example.